Where's my thing? Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. I am having like a little technical issues. Like the first time I logged in, like my camera wouldn't start, and then now it was like being obnoxious and not showing me. And hopefully, I think we are all good. Welcome to our weekly setup. My name is Maya, and if I haven't met you before, I am coming to you from Denver, Colorado, where we have had a very interesting day. It started out really sunny and then it got kind of cloudy, and then I just heard the wind kicking up, and now it feels like it's looks like it's getting sunny again outside. I do not know. And with me tonight in the chat is the fabulous Jennifer Kay. She is also encountering some frustrating weather. Hey, Jen, she like just made it home. She just like got back into town and was like rushing to get to her computer and said it's like 30 degrees and like cold and snow in Minnesota. And goodness gracious me. Weather is always tricky there, right? Yeah, sleet, snow, and cold. I I'm glad you made it safely. And she will be keeping an eye on the chat if you have any questions. I try to keep an eye on there, but sometimes it gets going pretty fast. And I'm also easily distracted. So sometimes I have to kind of ignore the chat so I can make sure to remember to tell you everything I need to tell you. So thanks for playing along there with your little spring persona. So it's the third letter of your username, or like your first name or something like that, and then your favorite color. So I was crusty crumpet crone. That's my spring persona. I don't know what that will entail, but who knows? It's kind of fun to go with. So that's from the account Cozy Nerdy Things on Instagram. I love to follow her stuff. She always has kind of fun little things and little drawings and all of that. So is anybody new to the socials? This is your first time joining a weekly setup social, first time with Silk and Sonder. Christina is new. Welcome. Yay. We love to welcome our new folks, give you a few pointers with these socials. Sometimes the chat gets going pretty fast. There's usually about 100-ish people here, so it can get rolling really fast. So we always tell people, just don't let it stress you out. Some people like to turn off the chat and they just focus on working on the journal, getting new ideas, writing things down. Some people love to hang out in the chat. You will notice that we have a lot of folks who are buds, and they want to talk, and like this is kind of the social hour, so they make notes and do screenshots, right, of some of the slides. Yes, and Chris says sometimes we chat so much we forget to set up, which is absolutely okay, right? And so just kind of find your own balance, see what works for you during the evening. Again, it's totally up to you. The main thing is to remember that these socials should never be a source of stress, right? Your journal should never be a source of stress. There's no right or wrong way. This is just us having fun, setting up our journal, getting some fun ideas from all the fabulous creative Sonder fams. So we are so happy that you are here. Also, that little blue button, make sure you set that to everyone so that everyone can see what you write. If you don't, the only people who see what you write are myself and Jen K, which if you just want to talk to us, that's absolutely fine. But just know that sometimes if you put something in the chat and it was a question and you don't see folks answering you, sometimes that's what happens, is that Zoom has this obnoxious tendency to default back to the host and panelist instead of everyone. So just keep that in mind. Also, just a few little community guidelines just to make sure this is a safe and supportive space. We are here to support folks. We want to make sure that you're kind and courteous to yourself and others. No promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy, no hate speech or bullying, limiting those repetitive product and accessory questions, trying to kind of focus on what we're setting up. It's fine to ask, a few questions about like maybe pins that don't bleed or where somebody got their awesome stickers. But really the best place for those questions is in our Sonder app, because then people can put in links and pictures and those kinds of things. So hopefully you're all on our Sonder Club app. It's a free app that comes with the subscription. So you should be able to hop on there and you will see this is that is where we get all of our fabulous examples for different things. So we love it when you post examples there. Any of those customer care inquiries. So if you need to update your mailing address, you need to update your billing information. I just got a new credit card, my new Discover card. I realized the other day when I was using it that it expires next month. And I thought, oh gosh, I hope they send me a new one. So that's one of those I always tell people, excuse me, remember to update those credit cards that you have on file. And then remember that these socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And we have a fabulous, supportive, creative, um, just so wonderful community here. But remember, ultimately, you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if there's ever anything that we're working on that just isn't, you're just not feeling it, it's not your jam, do what you need to do, right? There are no journal police, there are no social police. We are not going to come knock on your door and tell you, oh no, you're not supposed to be coloring, you're supposed to be filling in page 36 or something. Like that's not a thing, right? So do what you need to do at this hour. You've carved out this time for a little bit of self-care, so do what you need to do. If the music I play isn't your jam, you can mute that. If my voice isn't your jam, you can mute me. We have closed captioning enabled, so you can always turn that on. Just do what you need to do. This is your time, no right or wrong way to do this. So this month, and today is already the 11th of April, if you can believe it, we have been diving into this idea of awareness. And I think that this is kind of a fun, interesting theme to kind of dig into. And I thought this was a really interesting quote. Awareness is conscious connection with universal intelligence. You will see there's a little bit of a theme tonight. I've been very into the Artemis 2 and the Project Hail Mary. So I'm very, the whole interstellar, universal kind of thing has been, is very kind of my awareness theme. Another word for it is presence, consciousness without thought. And I've really been trying to be very present in situations and being aware of my current situation, not thinking about past things, not thinking about future things, but really seeing what is there. Oh, Jennifer, I hope you love Project Hail Mary. I don't know if you've read the book. I have not read the book. My husband read the book. He loved the movie. I think he's seen it 3 or 4 times already now. Just it is such a heartwarming, like just lovely movie that I think we all kind of needed right now. So yeah, and I've heard the book is fantastic, so it's on my list. But I have a really long to be read list. So, but eventually I will get to it, right? So our agenda for tonight, as we think about this whole idea of awareness, we're going to do our awareness mind map. So in these weekly setups, we have a special little activity we do at the beginning to really dig into that mind map. This is not printed anywhere in your journal. This is specific just to these weekly setups. So we will work on week 2 of that. We are going to do our rosebud thorn activity, and then we are going to do our weekly setup pages. So if you've been with me for a while, I always use these 2 little cartoons to illustrate a couple of points. First one says, there's room for you here just as you are. So we have this little pile of kittens, right? And there's room for you here if you're having a great day, lots of great things happening. You want to celebrate. You want to share some celebrations. We love to celebrate. And we know that life is not always a series of ups, right? It's that roller coaster, right? The ups and downs. And so sometimes we're in the down part. So maybe things have been rough. Yeah, Kimberly's saying have been having a rough few weeks, right? Like that happens. That's just how life is. And hugs to you, Kimberly. I hope things look up for you, but you can share that as well. Don't ever feel like, oh, I'm being too positive. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, or, oh, I don't want to share depressing things. I don't want to be depressing. I don't want to be a downer, right? Like that's not how it is. We're here to share everything. We're being real, right? We're being very authentic and kind of that sense of awareness. So don't ever feel like you can't share. And then the other one says, speaking of feelings, the way you feel matters and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy. So no one can tell you, oh, you should be happy about this, or, oh, you shouldn't be mad about that. Right. Our feelings are they are what they are. And so we're here for all of them. We're here to feel the feels here in this hour. Right. So let's do our awareness mind map. If you were with us last weekend, Oh no, Rev's saying that folks on Facebook are saying Artemis is fakes. Well, bless their hearts. Um, our awareness mind map, if you were here last week, we did week 1. So maybe you've already set this up. You can do this on a blank page in your journal. Again, remember there's not a specific printed spot for this. So some people like to do it in their weekly scratch pad section in their week. Some people like to do it on the definition page on page 3 or the quote page on page 38. A lot of us are back page folks, page 60. I will show you, I put mine on there's like a budget page on page 25. I'll show you what mine looks like here in a second. Divided into 4 quadrants because we'll always do 4 weeks. Yeah, Phyllis says she's a back page gal. A lot of folks like to do it. It's easier to find there. So if you want to make your drawing zones pop, you could have a stencil, maybe trace around your driver's license for a nice little rectangle. Jennifer K says she's a scratch pad girl. Maybe it's a cookie cutter or a can lid to frame the sections. So every week this month, we're peeling back this new layer of our theme to see what's underneath. So today, week 2, we are looking at a little bit of a mind-body reflection. So think about the last time you felt stressed or anxious. Did it cause any emotions or physical sensations? Like, what did that feel like in your body, right? And then the next time you feel stress building, what is something you can do to care for yourself? Now, if you didn't get a chance to do week 1, you're welcome to take a screenshot and work on that later. I refuse to say that I'm behind or I need to catch up. Nope, I'm right. You're right here. Week 2, you just start with week 2. You don't have to catch up. So here's mine is here over on the right. You can see I changed that budget page to awareness mind map. I divided it into 4 weeks, and then I have some a space for some wrap up thoughts at the end. And so when I was thinking about this idea of feeling stressed or anxious, kind of what physical sensations that I feel, so I will definitely say, usually my jaw clenches and feels really tight. My shoulders kind of rise up to my ears. And it doesn't feel good, right? Usually feeling that anxious, that stressed feeling it's not a good feeling. And so one of the things I can do is I can stop. I've been working on this, like just when I'm starting to feel that, my jaw clenching, my shoulders kind of tightening and rising, I just take a second, I pause, take a deep breath, maybe close my eyes, stand up and give myself a good stretch, open my mouth, right? Kind of get that jaw, kind of massage my jaw. It's always my left side. I don't know why. Pull my shoulders down, like consciously push them down to see if I could get that going. And so this is just a space for you to kind of think about what are some physical things you feel in your body. Yes, I will go back. I will kind of cycle through these slides when I give you some music to work on this. So do you notice if it's more of a physical response or more of a mentality thing? Do you notice racing thoughts? Do you notice like kind of what does that feel like? Is there something that you've noticed before and then you were able to make changes? One thing I want to caution is just be gentle with this prompt. Don't recreate stress or anxiety. Don't recreate that feeling here, but I want you to kind of think about it as you're writing. So again, this can be anywhere in your journal. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to play a little bit of music. I'll cycle back through these slides so that you can see if I can make my mouse work. Oh, mouse, why do you have to be like that? Okay. And we will check back in here in just a few moments. Right. Well, thank you for sharing in the chat. I noticed a lot of us talked about body sensations, right? The clenching of the teeth. And talking, yes, I have a mouth guard. I clench. I don't grind while I sleep, but I clench. So I have to have that mouth guard because I've got some cracked teeth from the clenching while sleeping. Let folks talking about like pains in their neck, um pains in, again, like shoulders, a lot of times stomach. A lot of folks talked about stomach pains, stomach being upset, those kinds of things. I have found also sometimes it's interesting, my knees tend to hold a lot of like stress or anger, so sometimes I have to kind of massage them, or kind of, I have one of those therapy guns, which are super helpful, highly recommend. But really, it's interesting. The body really holds stress and tension and trauma, and sometimes it can be really hard to make yourself release that. I know a lot of folks who do like somatic yoga, those kinds of things, talk about when they do that, how much they'll cry, because it's just the body kind of like releasing that, because our body thinks it's helping by holding it, and not letting us feel it. So sometimes it's just the matter of like allowing ourselves to feel it and work through it, even though it can be really uncomfortable. So thanks for just taking a few moments, really kind of thinking about that. Um, Also thinking about what you can do again, right? So a lot of folks were talking about closing their eyes, noise canceling headphones. Maybe if you can like lay down, take a little nap, drink something, um, kind of cool and refreshing, or maybe warm and soothing, right? Depending on kind of what's going on. Yeah, and Kimberly saying that somatic trauma informed trauma center yoga, not yogurt, can be really helpful. I have not tried it myself, but I have heard that it is super helpful if you find a place that does that, because again, your body just really kind of holds on to those things. So kind of letting it go. And in our world today, I think there's a lot of things sometimes that stress, sometimes even just shaking, right? The Taylor Swift song, Shake It, Shake It Off. Um, is also helpful, right? Even just like shaking your hands or shaking your body, just letting it go. Okay, I'm gonna have to make some trauma-centered yogurt. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. So thank you again for sharing that and spending just a few minutes there. And I noticed some of you said like, "Ooh, that was the easiest mind map question in a while." I know we've had some really deep mind map questions, so I think we were kind of trying this month to maybe go a little bit lighter, give you a little bit not quite so deep topics to think about, right? All right, so let's go on to our rosebud thorn. That's going to be over on page 36. And it's always important for us just to spend a few minutes reflecting on this past week, reflecting on how things went, what kinds of things happened. So I usually start with the thorn because I want to get the bad part out of the way so I can end with something that feels good. So the thorn is something that really is kind of some sort of a challenge, maybe something we need to confront head on, struggles with how you overcome those challenges, carry on with resilience, right? Thinking about inspiring us and empowering us to grow from adversity. So for me, yesterday, my friends, my mom, and I had gone out to eat before the ballet. And usually it's a restaurant we've been to before. It's usually lovely. And it was just, the service was really bad. The food was really bad. I had to call the manager over. They comped our meal, but they like didn't even offer like a cup of soup or something. So we kind of didn't really have much to eat before we went into the ballet, which was really frustrating. And my favorite part was the fact that while they comped the meal, the manager said, I'll leave $1 on here. So if you want a tip, you can. So we'll charge you $1. And I thought, okay, that's really weird. So then the waitress comes over with the check. I know, right, Nathania? The waitress comes over with the check and she's like, okay, so this has $1. She's like, okay, so here's this just in case. And my friend said, just in case what? And she said, that you want a tip. And I said, oh, okay. So then I tried to pay with cash, right? It was $1.08 because they put tax on it also. And oh, I'm sorry, we're a cashless restaurant. which I was just like, wow, okay, so here's my credit card, which you're going to get charged for you, but whatever. And I wrote really big on the receipt, no tip. My tip is that you need to figure out customer service and how to get your food out on time. And yeah, it was just one of those where I was like, oh, yeah, it was trauma yogurt. Um, so that's going to be my new phrase now, right? If there's anything that goes bad, I'm like, is that trauma yogurt? Um, so then we go on to our bud, right? Our thing where we're going to nurture growth and potential, foster curiosity, encourage continuous improvement, and anticipate future potential. Cultivating a growth mindset propels us forward. So having a bud, having something to look forward to. Research tells us that that actually sometimes is just as good as the event itself, right? So having that bud, having something to look forward to, sometimes it's a small thing like, you know, seeing some flowers, my lilac bush is blooming, or it's something bigger. So we have started more seriously planning for our trip to Spain this August. We're going to be there for the eclipse. So that definitely is a bud that I'm kind of holding. We went today to a um, adventure travel show at the Denver Convention Center, which just like spurred my travel excitement even more. So that is definitely a bud. And then we have our rose, something that is good, something we can celebrate, something that made us happy. Emphasizing the positive, cultivating gratitude, embracing the rose to uplift your spirits and inspire others. And so for me, I work in a school district, and we had a welcome to kindergarten night for kindergarten parents, incoming kindergarten parents that will be coming in the fall. And I had a small part of a presentation for that. And it was lovely. The kindergarten parents were so fun, and they're so excited to get their little kiddos in kindergarten, and it was just super fun. So I'm going to be quiet, play a little bit of music, let you work on your rose, your bud, your thorn. Keep sharing there in the chat what you're putting there, and then we'll check back and keep moving on. Right. So thank you for sharing those rosebuds and thorns. Um, I know that each week this is such an important activity, at least for me, because it helps me remember kind of what went on during the week, things that were happening. And I saw some folks with some varying things happening, some health scares, which is never fun. Um, but then also Bud looking forward to Leanne is doing a Silk and Sonder meetup in, is it Pleasant Hill, Pleasantville. Now I can't remember it. I can't. My chat is slowly scrolling there in California, Pleasant Hill, California. So that will be fun. We're going to look in Sonder Club and see some fun pictures. So yeah, so San Francisco Bay Area. Yep, yep. Um, so again, thanks for sharing. Yep. And poor Jennifer K is her thorn and her rose is way too much travel for work. But yay, she gets to travel for work. And that's one thing that's kind of funny. Sometimes our rose, our bud, and our thorn is exactly the same thing, right? For different reasons. And I think that just kind of goes to show how life can just give us interesting things to have to deal with. So again, thank you all for sharing there. Let us go into our weekly planner. We are going to go over to page 40 and 41 to set up what is this week 16 of the year. I had to put the little picture with the Artemis 2 crew talking about the purpose of humanity is joy and lifting one another up, creating together versus destroying. And I thought that was beautiful. And I feel like that's what our community does. We create together and we lift one another up. So I think that's one of the things that is just, oh, so amazing. And then I also put in the fun little new week reminder about nourishing our bodies with real food. Rest is not a reward, it's a requirement. You don't have to earn your rest. Reading cultivates the mind, clear boundaries, protecting your time and energy. So, so very important as we go into this week. So, the first thing at the top of page 40 is how we want to feel. And this can be one word. This can be, I want to feel more of this and less of this. Maybe it's several words. Maybe it's a phrase. Maybe it's a mantra. Maybe it's an affirmation that you really like. Maybe it's a sticker. Maybe it's a picture, a quote. It could be last week's word, right? You don't have to change your word every week. If you have a word that you really like, bring it forward. It could also be your word of the year. A lot of folks have a word of the year or a word of the month. This is a good place to put that. I love the person who said, I want to feel 100% awesome. Here's some other examples of things that folks have put: 1% better, enthusiastic, loved, ready, enough, more rested and energized, less scattered and exhausted. I see folks popping things in the chat. I want to feel clarity, healthy and calm, accomplished, courageous. Um, Fantastic, fantastic words. 10% happier. Yeah, healthy. All of these kinds of things. I love, yeah, somebody said they're going to also pick that word clarity, right? Because that is a good word. Happy, right? I love that. And I'm also going to talk about the weekly major 3 goals, because I think sometimes those tie in together, your how you want to feel, and your 3 goals. And I found the little quote by Virginia Woolf that talked about, without self-awareness, we are as babies in the cradle. So we've been working a lot with self-awareness here in Silk and Saunders. So I think sometimes these goals can be super helpful for us. Some people do more monthly goals, so they don't always have weekly major 3, or they will bring in those it's the same goals every week, really thinking about how your goals can support that feeling that you want, right? So you can go back to your April intentions page on page 9. Have you looked at that since you set those up at the beginning of the month? Now's a good time to do that. Your monthly habit tracker, how's that going on page 11? Maybe you want to set your goals through that lens of awareness. Maybe you want to do some no goals, like no alcohol, no doom scrolling, no more than a certain number of minutes on social media, no impulse spending, no takeout meals. Maybe you want to look at some previous weeks and bring some things over that you haven't quite finished yet. Maybe you want to frame your goal around a personal challenge. So maybe it's something like a fitness challenge, like I want to do 5 sit-ups every day. Maybe it's something around cleaning or decluttering. I know a lot of us are still doing the spring cleaning. Maybe it's self-care, a new recipe challenge. Here's some examples of things that folks have done. Maybe they want to eat well, stay active, and self-care. Sometimes people divide it into mind, body, work. Um, a be, have, and a do. And she has some fun little pictures there that she put into, I like to observe, and she has a little magnifying glass there to take a look at it. Delete, delegate, and delight, right? So for some different things, be present, be intentional, and be joyful are the goals there. Prioritize sleep, make a movement plan, increase efforts at work. I thought this was really cute, the little Hobbit Spring bingo. So this is the same person who did the cozy nerdy things from the first slide. So she has like watched the birds, sipped tea, picked flowers, did a craft, ate some form of potato, read, worked on your novel, went for a walk, baked bread. Could do a mind, body, soul. One person put breathe, move, and notice. Maybe if you don't, goals aren't quite your thing. Maybe you want to do some quotes that you really like. Maybe you want to do some podcasts you want to listen to, movies or TV shows, things you want to read, ways to get excited about spring, 3 songs of the week, 3 topics you want to know more about, some new recipes. Maybe it's a mini bingo board like the little Hobbit Spring bingo. Um, yeah, and I love, oh, Nathaniel's saying that hers, the one in the upper left is hers and it's an old one. But she's like, oh, it works for this week. That's the great thing. We have such a repository of all of these. I love to just kind of throw different ones in there. And some people are like, oh, that was mine from a few years ago. I forgot about that. And I really like that. Maybe I want to bring that forward again. So again, I will play a little bit of music, let you work on this, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right. So you've got that feeling that you want to feel. You've got some goals that you want to accomplish to have that feeling. And now we're going to do some to-dos and we're going to do some habits and activities, also known as our habities. The little phrase that I coined once again when I was talking too fast, like our trauma yogurt. Um, so just I just keep coming up with these new things. So the future can be better. Let's hang in there and see. I thought this was a super cute little picture there of the little unicorn looking at the stars. So I like the one up at the top because she's tied in her three goals, a mind, body, and a heart goal, to a little bingo there in the to-dos. So she's got some fun things for mind, like reading and scheduling a doctor's appointment and breathing, meditating or body stretching, drink water, focusing on fruits and vegetables, heart connections, glimmers, gratitude. One person also has underneath that some to-dos with like journaling, some different kind. She's kind of divided that into three sections. I thought this was also a cute one from the Cozy Nerdy Things, when they had the pick your snack personality. So you've got sweet and sad and woodland hermit and honey scone, right? So I always thought it's always good to find a new way to pick some snacks. And then some weekly to-dos here, write 500 words a minute. And she has each one of the days there that she can mark out. So that works out well. Walking to the gym, filling out her GLAD tracker. And I don't remember what the GLAD stands for. If somebody remembers what the GLAD stands for, I can't, I need to write that down somewhere because, or put it with this little picture so that I can remember what the GLAD is. I know somebody will probably pop it into the chat. Um, and then bingos, love a good bingo, working home. Don't do this instead. Oh, there, Chris got it. Gratitude, learning, accomplishment, and delight. So something, a feeling of gratitude, some learning, accomplishment, and delight. Thank you, Chris. I knew somebody would know. Um, Spring energy givers, right? We're always looking for things that'll give us some energy, like picking fresh flowers or decorating your journal. I love seeing how some of you take the cover of the journal and put all sorts of fun pictures. Yeah, poor Jennifer K. I'm sorry it's not spring there. I'm sure spring will come. I promise. um, so Christine is asking, what would be the difference between the goals section and the to-dos, or is overlap inevitable? It kind of depends on how you set it up. For some people, goals are concrete things to do, and for other people, goals are more things like movement is a goal, and then the to-dos are things like go to the gym, go for a walk, those kinds of things. But then some people will just put that in goals. So it kind of depends on what really works for you for kind of thinking what that might look like. I did put in the Silk and Saunders April 30 Days of Awareness calendar. Today's awareness activity is take one slow breath before responding. That is always something that I try to do, and sometimes I'm not successful with as I'm responding to something maybe that is a little stressful. So that is good. That calendar came from Silk and Saunders' Instagram page. So you can get that there, or again, you can take a little screenshot of it right here. Some ways you can repurpose the to-do section. You might want to put a quote. Maybe you want to put, again, how you want to be patient, be kind, be vigilant, be honest. Maybe you want to make a not to-do list, things you don't want to do. Maybe you want to do a ta-da list, like, ta-da, I got these things done, yay. Lots of different ways to kind of do that. And then our habit and activity, or habities, right? Which I think is kind of a fun word there. I thought this was another cute little picture of a sloth girl spring. I have a niece who loves sloths, so I always capture pictures of them when they're in these cute little cartoons there. So this is a great place to put maybe some things that are specific to the week, maybe some habits that you're trying out to see how it feels, and you want to do it maybe 3 or 4 times this week. You can see like the circle up there, she's doing a little bit of habit stacking. So she's got a night walk with an audiobook. So pairing up the reading with the movement activity there. Again, eat the frog. So that's that whole idea of do the hardest thing first and then it's out of your way. Like if you had to eat a frog, if you did it first thing, it would be done. And yeah, so how is this one different from the monthly habit tracker. So the monthly habit tracker is really more things you want to do every single day. This is more specific to the week. But like Phyllis is saying, my weekly habits don't really change very much from week to week. And that's okay, right? They don't have to. And you do not have to fill in every single line here, right? You do not have to fill in every single line on the habities. Here's some other things you might want to think of as you put those in there. Again, those Silk and Sonder ones are from the Silk and Sonder Instagram page, like focusing on one task at a time or spending 5 minutes outside, staying hydrated. And then there's the fun little April bucket list um, that has some fun things. Maybe you only want to do that once, like watch clouds from a cozy blanket, and you want to put that as a habit and activity. It's more of an activity. You want to do it once. You put it there in the little goal section, and then you're all good to go. So I'll be quiet, let you work on that section, play just a little bit of music, and then we'll keep moving on. All right. So, as in typical fashion, I've probably talked a little bit too long, and we just have a little bit of time left. So we're going to go over that B side right on page 41. One of our other fabulous facilitators, Katie, calls it the B side because it really kind of depends on what you need it for, right? Sometimes we focus only on the A side. We listen to the A side. We know it really well. We're grooving with it, and then we kind of changed this one up. And I think this one, the meal plan, the mind, body, health, the shopping list, the I am loving, really is something that a lot of folks repurpose. Yes, Nikki's saying lots of stickers Absolutely perfect there. And then there's another cute little picture with the little kitty cat that says there's still a lot of good in the world, which I know that there is every time I join one of these fabulous Sonder socials, right? You are all just so fabulous in renewing faith in humanity. So, our meal plan, I feel like that's one of the most repurposed sections, right? Lots of different things to do. Obviously, you can plan your meals, you can track your meals here. Um, Daily affirmations, exercise tracker, cleaning plans, outfit trackers, dream trackers, gratitude logs. If you're trying to build some routines, if you are wanting to do some little mini bingo boards, some doodles, some symptoms trackers. I had to throw in some fun flower pictures there because I just love spring with all its pretty little flowers. You can see some things, kindness quote doodles, and they have like fun little doodles there. A daily affirmation, my week in reading, making it happen, some really good house cleaning ideas for each day. I think that is excellent. Yeah, Nikki says my mind body health is where her daily affirmations live. Perfect. I have the little dopamine menu back for you again. I've popped this one in every once in a while. I like the idea of using the meal plan to plan some dopamine that you can get, not the icky, the fast dopamine that scrolling gives you. We don't like that. I mean, that's like a junk food dopamine, right? We want some of those are the desserts, right? We're going to limit that. We're going to do maybe some fun entree dopamines, like going for a walk or watching a fun movie or going on a dinner date. Maybe some sides might be light a candle, turn on a diffuser, right? Lots of different ideas. Yeah. And Jennifer is saying in the chat, when she travels, she really needs to track her meals. So she uses that. This is really helpful for her to kind of keep track. Yeah, traveling and eating can be so tricky because you can really get off balance and get that stuff that is not quite as good for us there. So our mind body health plan, focusing on what we love in this area, maybe what we love for each day. Again, here's a fun from the slowsimpleseasonal.com, a little calendar that they had where they have, it's a nature one. So they talk about your supplies or a nature journal, pencil, watercolor, paints, and other water, pencils, a heavy book, or a flower press to press flowers, a magnifying glass. Fun month in nature today was study of butterflies' movements and resting habits. I haven't seen any butterflies yet, so we're a little behind on that. But I love this idea of a fun nature journal, nature tracker for each day. It's kind of a fun way to take a look at that. Um, Maybe what you're loving today you're going to keep track of, another bingo, some bills you have to pay. Yes, unfortunately taxes are coming due on the 15th, so I guess I should probably pay those. Other fun things, you keep it fun, some fun ideas. And then I know Leanne has her kind of I love her plan and her reality. I love that idea because like here's what I plan to do, here's the things I want to do, and then here's what ends up happening. So we know that life happens. So it's a great way to kind of keep track of what that looks like, and how we planned and how we might have gotten off track, but that's okay, right? Then we've got our shopping list section where maybe we want to think about ways to fill our cup. Maybe we want to do a little glimmer bingo, right? Glimmers are the opposite of triggers. Glimmers are those smile, fun, happy little things that happen. So maybe we want to keep track of that. No unnecessary spending, like little reminders. Eat the tofu. There's some yoga, but I don't think it's trauma yoga there. So trauma yogurt. So which one's yours, Phyllis? Is it the fun little self-care one? I love that. That's a great idea to have. Oh, the no spending. Yes, that is a good one also. And then the I am loving section is just kind of like, what are you loving? What are you enjoying? What is making you smile? What is making you happy? Sometimes I fill it out at the beginning of the week, sometimes in the middle of the week, whenever I notice something. I have been watching the Count of Monte Cristo series on PBS, which is just fabulous. Definitely have been enjoying that. Yes, Radhika is saying Sonder Mail, right? Our pen pal group, getting that is fabulous. I know I get letters probably every day. It's so fun. I'm a little, I hate to say I'm behind, but I do have a stack of things I need to respond to this weekend. And then the other thing I'm loving is our book club. If you haven't joined the unofficial book club, Jennifer can probably pop the link for that in there. It's in the Fable app. We are just starting the correspondent. We just finished the remarkably, remarkably brilliant, wait, remarkably, the one with the octopus, remarkably brilliant creatures. And so if you join into that, I will tell you tomorrow night, I'm doing my own. We're going to do our first book club Zoom call. So the link for that is in Remarkably Bright Creatures. Thank you, Kimber. Um, Obviously, I perhaps am not the remarkably bright creature because my brain was not holding it there. So if you want to join us for that, you need to join the book club, even if you haven't read the book, as long as you're okay with spoilers. Um, yeah, The Count of Monte Cristo, it's a new series on PBS. There's obviously lots of versions of it, but this is a new one that's on PBS. It's in Masterpiece. And I think if you sign up for, like, if you donate, you can see all the episodes at once, but you don't have to. They're releasing it. They're releasing a new one, I think, like every Sunday or something like that. So that one is there. I don't like to binge watch, so I'm okay with like only watching one a week. I'm okay with that. Yeah, my passport on PBS. Yeah, and you can see that. So super fun. So yeah, Chris, if you didn't read it, but you're okay with spoilers, heck, you can join. Because we're just me talking about the book, talking about books, all that good stuff. So we have just a few minutes left. I will scroll through these and just play a brief bit of music, and then we'll pop back in and we'll wrap things up. Hey, so I do not know where the hour goes so quickly. It is always just gone instantly. I will tell you the book club link will not be email. It's unofficial. It's just me doing it. So you have to join the book club to get into that, to be able to get that link. Um, so just know that headquarters can't help you with that because they're not working on this. This is just a little thing that I am doing. Um, Also, I did want to mention the currently pages on there. If you want to fill that out, that's just kind of what's going on in your life currently, what you're loving, what you're feeling, all of those kinds of things are in there. Sharing your weekly planner and Sonder Club so we can get those screenshots and share those with everyone. You can see these all came from real life Sonder fam. We've got a minimalist digital journal that is out now. So if you or someone you know is not a fan of the flowers and likes the minimalist style, we have that as something that you can subscribe to. And Jennifer is popping some different links in there for you to be able to go to that. We also have the spring clean reset that Jennifer O is doing, and I will be in the chat for that one. That's going to be fun. That's on April 21st. Jennifer's popping some links in that in the chat for that as well. And then also, we are doing a super fun Sonder Coach Take It for a Quick Spin for free. You can go to the link that Jennifer is going to put into the chat, and you can kind of fill it out. You do not have to, there's a lot of questions in there, but there's a skip button. So if you don't want to put your birth date or where you were born, because there's a lot of stuff that it does with the some different like astrological, and I can't remember there's some other pieces that it uses, but you don't have to fill all that out, but you can kind of play with it, just to kind of ask it a question and see what kinds of things it comes up with, so you can kind of get an idea of what the Sonder Coach looks like. So yeah, and Phyllis says she loves doing the Sonder Coach. It really is, it's very helpful, and it's kind of that on demand um, coach, right, which is kind of cool. So thank you all so much for joining. I know we have a social, I think, tomorrow morning, that I believe Katie is going to help you set up your journal if you want to be here for that. My book club peeps, I will maybe see you. And I will see you because it will be cameras and microphones, so we can see each other and talk. So have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your evening, great weekend, and we will see you all again, hopefully very, very soon. Thank you all so much for joining us. As it seems, and spinning out of control. No way. Jake.